So very good evening to all of you. We already completed in this chapter the part of plant breeding, or rather to say animal domestication. Domestication of animal means we are referring to the techniques that we can use for obtaining high yield from animals. Okay. So today we are starting with the next part, which will deal with the plant breeding, or how we domesticate plants to obtain better yield. Okay. So let's move ahead. So plant breeding is a classical method of crop improvement. Okay. Apart from that, nowadays we have options like genetic engineering. So in this chapter, I will give you a brief idea about comparison of both of these. When we studied the chapter of Mendelism, we already discussed about plant breeding, what it is. And I gave you idea about plant breeding in the reproduction chapter also. So what is the aim of plant breeding? Why we go for plant breeding? I want you people to speak. Plant breeding क्यों करते हैं हम? Good quality. Okay, quality can be one of the reason. Any other reason? Resistance from disease. Very good. That can be one reason, that crop variety, if it is resistance for any kind of disease, it is beneficial. Can anyone elaborate? क्या फायदा होगा अगर resistance हुआ disease से तो? disease नहीं होगा तो Actually, pesticides are very harmful for us also, and it is creating havoc in environmental issues. So we should go without pesticide as much as possible, and pesticides do not give 100% result. If a plant can be resistant to disease, the headache of applying pesticide at the correct time, caused harm by the pesticide, and the cost of pesticide is avoided. That's why this is a very good valid point, that apart from quality, we think about disease resistance. Other reasons? Resistance to adverse environment. Very good. For example, resistance in salinity. Okay, I wish to talk about the Green Revolution here. The father of Green Revolution in the world is known as Norman Borlaug. He worked on semi-dwarf variety of wheat. Once upon a time, it was observed that wheat was cultivated at specific region only. जैसे पहले के जमाने में ऐसा था कि आपको अगर चावल की खेती करनी है, उसके लिए गैंगेटिक प्लेन इज द रीजन. गंगा किनारे जिस जमीन पे गंगा की मिट्टी बसती थी, प्लेन रीजन, that part was best for cultivation of rice. But in India, we are the community where every people is consuming rice almost. So ऐसे कैसे possible है कि राइस उतने से जगह पे ही ग्रो? So scientists thought about that. Similar way, wheat was cultivated majorly in Punjab and Haryana. So other parts of India were not able to cultivate wheat. So how to solve this problem? Will it be possible for Punjab and Haryana to supply wheat for the whole India? And even if for whole India they are supplying, we need to think about the export to the other part also. तो इसका solution कैसे लाए हम? So here comes the picture of semi-dwarf variety of wheat, which was having better adaptability in different environment. And from here starts the Green Revolution. What is Green Revolution? Why it is called Green Revolution? Because it started with that, but then scientists thought about so many varieties, and they thought about applying conventional as well as non-conventional, that is modern techniques to improve the quality. Okay. In India, the father of green revolution is Swaminathan. Okay. So classical plant breeding is the method that we are going to focus here. And in the next unit, that is unit number 4, we will talk about the biotechnological approaches which are quite modern, and we started applying them, how they can be helpful in the improvement of the crops. So classical plant breeding will involve basically hybridization of pure line. So today I am going to speak less, you people are going to speak more. क्योंकि कैसे hybridization होता है, what is emasculation, tagging, bagging, everything is taught to you. So we will discuss, this will be a nice recap as well as you will know things. Okay. Apart from that, molecular genetic tools, which is called recombinant DNA technology, or we can call it genetic engineering also. Why? Because we are going for engineering of the genetic material. So first we will talk about the plant breeding. So I taught you the steps of plant breeding. Can anyone try and recollect and tell me what are the steps of first step? क्या होनी चाहिए plant breeding? इतनी फटाफट पहले ही इमैस्कुलेशन. Selection. Correct, Krishna. Very good. Proud of you. So, selection of the variety. You need to first thing decide for what purpose you want to do breeding, and then you should go for selection. Are you looking for improvement of quality, quantity, disease resistance, environmental stress resistance? Depending on that, you need to select the variety, and you need to select a stable variety. A variety which is changing its characteristics every now and then, you cannot select that. And you need to make trials to see the character you are choosing is permanent one, is it genotypic character or phenotypic character. रास्ते में चलते चलते अचानक अपने स्टॉल प्लांट देखा, अरे ये स्टॉल है, मुझे इसी से ब्रीडिंग करनी है. पता चला वहां किसी ने फर्टिलाइजर ज्यादा डाल दिया था, वो टॉल हो गया. कुछ वैसे नहीं करना चाहिए. Whatsoever parent you are choosing for breeding, they should be developed parent. So what people do, either they take time and select the wild type parents, grow them for 1 or 2 generations and confirm that they are actually having good characteristics, or they don't take risk, they go for established varieties. जो variety established है already, उनको लेके काम करते हैं. There is an organization called ICAR. ICAR, Delhi, USA. International Council of Agricultural Research. In India, if anyone is developing a new variety, वो सभी के seeds को उनको वहां परीक्षण के लिए भेजना पड़ता है. Those people analyze those seeds and see that if it is claimed correctly or not, and then they will give you rights to call it. For example, श्यामा ने अगर कोई seed की variety develop की है, तो श्यामा के नाम से उसने श्यामा 1 रखा उसी को, with the optimism that she will discover some more. So that श्यामा 1 name she can be used, can use it only under approval of ICAR. Okay. So desirable traits, so we already discussed, so I am not stopping here. First step is collection of genetic variability and selection of the parents. So why you want to collect genetic variability as it is mentioned here? क्यों हमें wild type में भी जानी चाहिए? Why should we not always go for the high yielding types available? Let me tell you. राइस एक ऐसी प्लांट है जिसमें आज से 50 साल पहले भी रिसर्च हो रहा था, आज भी रिसर्च हो रहा है. Why? We want to make it better and better and better. So if you are always choosing high yielding developed varieties that is present in like already present in market, उसमें से तो और बेहतर आप क्या करोगे? So you need to select from the wild types which are not domesticated till now. Domestication मतलब पालना नहीं here. Here the meaning of domestication means they are not cultivated with a proper agricultural practice. That is called domestication. So हमें variety तो लेनी है, variety होगी तभी तो उसमें से हम नए नए characters choose कर सकते हैं. इसीलिए जो plant breeding करते हैं, they travel. They read the reports from different part of India. They go there, collect seed, try, and then they establish a germplasm collection. What do we mean by germplasm collection? Well, lot many varieties which are established high yielding varieties, as well as the varieties which are not under notice of anyone is there. Okay, and if in nature some plants are there where variation doesn't exist, then people go for mutation breeding. What do we mean by mutation breeding? उसमें हम mutation करवाते हैं ताकि हमें variety मिले. Understood? If variety is not available in nature, then we go for mutation breeding. So collection of genetic variability, that is germplasm. Second is evaluation of and selection of parents. This so you know. Before we are choosing and we are going to work on them for next few years, we need to establish कि जो character के लिए उसको हम choose कर रहे हैं, that should be a genotypic transferable character. Then only it will be of use. Third step is cross hybridization of selective parent. यहाँ आ रहा है येशा का emasculation. ठीक है? इतने बाद आ रहा था. She was excited, so she mentioned. So emasculation is the part where male reproductive part of flower is removed. Always remember it is optional. अगर flower bisexual हुआ तो इसकी जरूरत है, unisexual हुआ तो जरूरत ही नहीं है. ठीक है? One terminology I wish all of you to write down, that is reciprocal cross. So what is this reciprocal cross? In case of reciprocal cross, we try both the options. मतलब समझो दो plants मेरे पास है. I want all of you to first listen to me, then you write. So two plants we have. One is having high yield, other is having better quality. So in reciprocal cross, what we do? First, we take male plant which is giving high yield and female plant which is giving high quality. Then we reverse. दोनों option available रखते. Then in male we take high quality and in female we take the high quantity. So this is called reciprocal cross, because in breeding you don't know that high quality will be better expressed with male plant or female plant. Why? Plants are having cytoplasmic inheritance. Some inheritance which is due to the mitochondrial gene present in them. So if the character you are looking for is present in the cytoplasm and you are choosing a male plant for that character, it will be never transferred to the next generation. Okay, so in reciprocal cross both the options are tried. समझ में आया ना? समझो दो मैंगो ट्री है, एक में बहुत टेस्टी मैंगो मिलता है, दूसरे में बहुत ज्यादा मैंगो मिलता है. तो आपको क्या करनी है? टेस्टी मैंगो वाला मेल के साथ ज्यादा मैंगो वाले फीमेल का करना है, टेस्टी मैंगो वाले फीमेल के साथ ज्यादा मैंगो वाले मेल का करना है. Both the options will be done. This type of cross is known as reciprocal cross. So now you can write it down as per your own convenience to remember the fact. So the third step is fourth cross hybridization, where emasculation is done. I told you about reciprocal cross. Normal cross is also done, where they decide that this one will be male, this one will be female, and they go for cross like that only. So one emasculation is done, then there will be artificial hybridization step. That means the male flower anthers are rubbed in the stigma of the other flower. Okay. Then there will be bagging. Bagging will ensure that no external pollen should drop. And then there will be tagging. So this emasculation, hybridization, bagging, tagging, all of them are coming under the third step. Fourth step is the one where we need to be very careful. You know कि कभी भी दो अलग कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स के हाइब्रिडाइजेशन में फर्स्ट जनरेशन यानी F1 जनरेशन में रिसेसिव कैरेक्टर कभी भी एक्सप्रेस नहीं होता, you know. So recessive character will be expressed in the second generation, that is F2 minimum. So इसीलिए आपको जब आप हाइब्रिडाइजेशन करोगे, you need to study the plants for several generations. First generation में जो plants आएंगे after hybridization, you need to collect their seeds individually. मतलब अगर 10 plants आए या 10 plantों पे आपने hybridization किया है, उन सभी में अगर 10-10 fruits है, consider करो, I just give you an example. Consider you have 10 plants in which hybridization you done. In one plant there will not be one flower, no? There will be 4 or 5 flowers. So that means you need to keep those 50 seed packets separately. Why? आपने हर एक में इंडिविजुअल इमास्कुलेशन टैगिंग बैगिंग की, तो हर एक फ्रूट जो होगा, their seeds will have ability to produce different things. आप आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर पाओगे ना. तो एक प्लांट में अगर 5 fruit produce हुआ है by 5 different emasculation tagging values, then you have to keep 5 of these things separate, and then you need to sow these seed in a way that you can identify. ऐसे ही नहीं निकले रास्ते में ऐसे सारे टोकरी में सीड लेके. You need to know कि चलो फर्स्ट लाइन मेरा फर्स्ट प्लांट का फर्स्ट फ्रूट का सीड, सेकंड लाइन फर्स्ट प्लांट के सेकंड फ्रूट का सीड, थर्ड लाइन, ऐसे करके वो प्लानिंग के साथ you need to cultivate. And then you need to study and identify. Understood? क्यों ऐसा हिसाब रखना पड़ता है? क्योंकि maybe in first generation the character is not expressed. Then वो जो 50 अलग सीड हुए, मतलब फ्रूट हुए, उसमें से जो 100 प्लांट्स निकलेंगे, उन सभी की सीड्स को कलेक्ट करके नेक्स्ट जनरेशन अगेन you have to scientifically do it. So breeding में सबसे डिफिकल्ट स्टेप यही होता है, सिलेक्शन. And then once you select, once you obtain the plant with desired character, then you need to go for testing, release and commercialization. Now for this testing, you need to go for, first of all, you need to confirm at your level by cultivating it to minimum 3 generations that okay, this character which I am obtaining is genetic transmissible character. Then you need to send it for multi-locational trial. मतलब मेरा ये प्लांट इंडिया के कौन से एग्रो इकोनॉमिक जोन में अच्छे से रिजल्ट देते हैं. Once everything is done, then you go for commercialization and release. कहाँ जाना पड़ेगा हमें वापस से? ICAR में. अब ये लोग टेस्ट करेंगे कि तुमने जो दावा किया है वो सब सही है, and then they will give you license to test. So it take years. ऐसा नहीं है कि मतलब आए और कर दिया चल दिया. You require patience. So we talked about all these things in detail. That's why I am just not now going to display the slides one by one, so that you will be able to know them. Evaluation of selected parents. We talked. So while you are selecting parent, you need to have pure line. मतलब homozygous, huh? You should not have heterozygous plant because there will be too much confusion. So you can see that in cross hybridization, these are limitations, that it is very time consuming and hybrids may not combine. Breeding is a luck by chance thing. ना? It may be possible कि किसी का first trial में ही आ जाए, किसी का ना आए, because plants are reproducing. You don't have any control over them. Okay. So limitations are, I told you that they can combine to form desired resulting plant. They cannot. It's up to your luck. So selection and testing, the variety you are prepared going to release, it should be homozygous also. Why? Because if it is not a stable one, that will be problem. मतलब समझो आप किसानों को recommend करोगे कि ये seed तुम लगाओगे तो there should be good growth. अगर किसी किसान का एक फसल fail हो गया, मतलब it is very problematic for him. So before that, 1,000 times trials are required. Okay. So you can see this is the way every parameter. अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि नहीं मेरी जो राइस वैरायटी है या मेरी जो, जैसे आजकल पता है ऑयल की वैरायटीज होती है विच आर रिच इन लाइक एसेंशियल अमाइनो एसिड्स, बोलते हैं ना प्यूफा, रिच, लो कोलेस्टेरॉल. सो इट्स नॉट ओनली कि भाई आप खेत में चले गए और फसलों को देख लिया. एनालिसिस एंड टेस्टिंग डजंट मीन only looking into the height of plant. They should go to laboratory for chemical analysis to prove that okay this is actually high yield. क्योंकि yield मतलब हमेशा वजन में नहीं होता है. Consider if I am cultivating medicinal plant, so इतना बड़ा रूट निकल रहा है अश्वगंधा में, बट उस रूट में जो केमिकल चाहिए उसकी कंटेंट बहुत लो है. It's of no use, no. So this testing must be done in a very definite manner where actually every parameter is to be checked. You need to check for the resistance of disease also. पता चला एक variety आपने establish की है which is very high yielding, but it is having zero resistance to disease. उसको तुम market में release नहीं कर सकते. So you can see how extensive these processes are there. Then you need to check आपके प्लांट को बेस्ट कल्टीवर या हाई यील्डिंग तब बोला जाएगा, उससे पहले आपको एक कंपैरेटिव एनालिसिस करनी पड़ेगी विद द एग्जिस्टिंग लोकल कल्टीवर. जैसे मुझे अगर गुजरात में एक ऐसा प्लांट लाना है जो बहुत अच्छा यील्ड देता है, समझो कैस्टर का, तो जो कल्टीवर अभी एग्जिस्टिंगली फार्मर्स यूज करते हैं, मुझे ये प्रूफ करना पड़ेगा कि उससे ये पैरामीटर में बेहतर है, तभी लोग खरीदेंगे ना. Otherwise, why they will think? So you can understand how extensive this thing is. So, as you know that 33% of India's GDP is due to these plants which are wheat and rice, because they are our staple food. All of us, बाकी कुछ भी खाओ, even if you are vegetarian, not vegetarian, we take wheat and rice as our stable food. And 62% of our nation's population are still farmers. So majority of the population are farmers. So obviously, green revolution was very much required, and as I said to you already that this is Norman Borlaug, who worked in International Center for Wheat and Maize Improvement at Mexico. Mexico क्यों? Mexico is a country where rice is very important. मतलब आप लोगों को believe नहीं होगा, टैको से लेके सालसा, हाँ, राइस तो होता ही है. You should go and visit Taco Bell. You will feel so many similarities with Indian food and the Mexican food. They are also eating very spicy food. So obviously this research was expected from either India or from Mexico, and they did. So as I told that they developed semi-dwarf wheat variety, and in 1963 high-yielding disease-resistant wheat varieties like Sonalika and Kalyan Sona. These are two varieties. They are very much resistant to common diseases, especially fungal diseases found in wheat. Okay. So you need to know about them, these varieties. I told you at the completion of this lecture, I will give you one list in which you will get all the varieties which are commonly asked. Because in NEET they mention these names. You need to identify what they are. So IR8 is also a variety which was developed from semi-dwarf variety developed by Norman Borlaug. It is developed by International Rice Research Institute, Philippines. And in Taiwan, they developed Taichung Native 1. Both these varieties were developed from the semi-dwarf variety of the Norman Borlaug. Or better variety that is used in India is Jaya and Ratna. These are varieties developed in India. So in case of sugarcane, the scientific name Saccharum berberi. Saccharum officinalum is the one which is having better content of sugar, because barberry, which is a local variety, as much as content of cane you are harvesting, the percentage of sugar is very less. So this Saccharum berberi was crossed with Saccharum officinarum, which has like thicker stem and high sugar content. But why this cross was required? Agar Saccharum officinalum was better, why didn't we go directly for it? Because beta, this Saccharum officinarum was a tropical variety of South India. It grows well in the climate of South India only. It cannot be grown in North India. उसके लिए नॉर्थ इंडिया का जो वैरायटी था बारबेरी, उसके साथ इसकी क्रॉसिंग थी, so that it can have environmental stress resistance like Burberry and the production and quality quantity of officinum. So to get a hybrid sugarcane variety which have desirable quantity and ability to grow in North India. This looks like dream, but people like they devoted their whole life in this kind of things. Then is millet. Millets are jowar, bajra, and ragi. Generally, at my place where I stay, I never had all these things because people are eating either rice, maximum to maximum wheat. Those are region with fertility, and these are अब तो हम millet health conscious लोग लेते हैं because millet has less amount of carbohydrate. तो जो लोगों को पतले होने हैं उन लोगों को millet खाने की आदत रहती है. But एक टाइम पे these were the like food of pure poor people. जो गरीब लोग होते हैं वो पीते खाते पीते थे या फिर जानवरों को खिलाया जाता. So why these plants are of more important? Because they are grown in dry region. तो नॉर्थ इंडिया में ये सब की ग्रोथ होती है and people grow them. So in this case also the corn varieties like Vivek hybrid, QPM version of Vivek hybrid and other versions of jowar and bajras were available, which are resistant to water stress. That means they are already growing in dry region. You can make them grow in more dry region, so that you can cultivate them in areas where cultivation was a challenge. Okay, so in case of disease resistance, I told you already that crop losses are most in case of disease resistance. In absence of disease resistance of the plant, because pesticides are not 100% foolproof. Okay, so in case of that, जैसे कि फंगल, बैक्टीरियल और वायरल डिजीजेस, these are common diseases and you can see their pictures over here. जैसे रस्ट डिजीजेस, व्हीट में एक बहुत होता है जिसे ब्राउन रस्ट बोलते हैं, पाक्शीनिया ग्रामिनीस नाम का एक फंगी है जो कॉज करता है रस्ट। क्यों? जैसे आयरन में रस्टिंग होती है तो जैसे रेडिश ब्राउन कलर की डिपोजिशन होता है, सेम इज अवेलेबल। इसके अलावा रेड रॉट ऑफ सुगर क्रेन, लेट ब्लाइट ऑफ पोटैटो। आयरलैंड में आयरिश पोटैटो फेमिन हो गया था ड्यू टू दिस लेट ब्लाइट ऑफ फाइटोप्थेरा इन्फेस्टेंस, दिस इज द नेम ऑफ फंगस, जिसकी वजह से ये हो गया था। सोचो, पोटैटो फेमिन मतलब पोटैटो था ही नहीं उस एरिया में, all of them were destroyed. Okay, so viral diseases are there, for example tobacco mosaic virus, इसमें लीफ के, टोबैको के जो लीफ होते हैं उसमें क्लोरोफिल certain areas में destroy हो जाता है। And you know, if plant cannot do photosynthesis, health of plant cannot be controlled. So you can see various pictures over there in this slide. So I told you that in breeding, two types of breedings are there: conventional breeding techniques and mutation breeding techniques. In both the cases, the main point is same, that you are going to go for emasculation banding technique. जिस variety में naturally variation available रहता है, we go for normal conventional breeding. जिसमें वो नहीं available होता है, we go for mutation breeding. So there are mutagens with like physical mutagens like X-ray, gamma ray, with which plants के जो seeds होते हैं, we expose them to X-ray or gamma ray, and then we go for their trial to see if they are mutated and if they are producing better result or not. So it is also a trial and error process. आप अगर 1000 seeds करोगे, लक बाय चांस उसमें किसी में, क्योंकि म्यूटेशन कहाँ होगा you don't know. So there is experimentation. आपको उन सीड्स को 5 मिनट्स देनी है, 2 मिनट्स देनी है, 1 मिनट देनी है, देखनी है कि किसके केस में क्या आ रहा है। You need to check in mutation breeding कि इसका कोई नेगेटिव, पता चला हाई यील्डिंग है, but it is having some kind of toxin in the food. That is also problematic. So you need to check thoroughly. Okay. Other than physical method, there are chemical method in which EMS, ethyl methane sulfonate, DES, ठीक है, या फिर यू कैन यूज कॉल्चिसिन, नाइट्रोटिक पॉइजन। आई टोल्ड यू ना, वो प्लांट के सेल डिवीजन करने नहीं देता है, तो क्रोमोसोम नंबर इज डबल्ड। ओके, सो कन्वेंशनल ब्रीथिंग में द स्टेप्स आर सेम: स्क्रीनिंग ऑफ germplasm, hybridization, selection and evolution, then testing and release. So these are the normal one. So these are the list in wheat. Himgiri variety is developed by conventional breeding method, which is known for its leaf resistance towards disease, yield burnt and leaf stripe rust. Brassica, the brassica means सरसों का plant होता है, सरसों की तेल रई बोलते हो गुजरात में। So Pusa swarnim, it is resistance against white rust. Cauliflower जिसमें पूसा, that's why I told you ICAR दिल्ली में जिस जगह पे है, that is known as पूसा. Okay. So we were talking about cauliflower, Pusa variety. These are resistant against black rot and hull blight black rot. Cowpea and chili also resistant to different varieties. So in mutation breeding, we are causing mutation artificially. Apart from that, I wish to talk about other methods. So in our next lecture, which will be the concluding lecture for this chapter, we will learn in next lecture about, I will display that list and we will discuss about the different plant varieties. Apart from that, we will talk about how non-conventional methods like tissue culture and genetic engineering was helpful for development of new varieties. We need to learn their processes also a bit. Okay. So in mutation breeding, you can see, as I mentioned, that gamma rays can be used for this purpose. You can see that mung bean, which is resistant to yellow mosaic virus and powdery mildew. So yellow mosaic virus disease caused by virus and powdery mildew disease caused by fungus. Both of them are hazardous for the plant. तो gamma rays से mutation breeding करके they develop these two disease resistance varieties. So then भिंडी जो ओकारा जिसे आप बोलते हो, okay, this actually भिंडी generally the one we are cultivating are not resistant to disease. So what they took like wild species which doesn't give better yield. उनके भिंडियाँ उतनी tasty नहीं होती, but they are resistant to this yellow mosaic virus disease. So their that good character was hybridized with the conventional bhindis we are eating to make them disease resistant. इसका नाम है प्रभानी क्रांति, जो नया रिलीज. ओके. सो कुछ प्लांट्स में डिजीज रेजिस्टेंस लाने के लिए कुछ रीजंस होते हैं. इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज सेम. सो आई एम स्टॉपिंग टुडे. In our next lecture, we will discuss about what are the characters responsible for disease resistance too. So today I will conclude my lecture. I just want to ask you people, if you have any doubt, kindly go through your textbooks and let me know. Okay, so bye to all of you.